It all happened because of the Cold War. The Cold War is basically an indirect conflict between the two superpowers, the US and the USSR.
People always ask themselves, why was it considered a war if there was no direct contact between each other?
Well, technically, there was never a direct armed conflict between the two superpowers, but they did confront each other in indirect ways through other countries.
This is known as a proxy war.
One of these famous proxy wars is known as the
Korean War.
This war is one of the most recognized due to the fact that you can still see its consequences nowadays.
It all began when Japan had control over Korea during World War II.
Yet, when the war came to an end, the Koreans were liberated from the Japanese.
This led to a competition between the two superpowers.
The USSR, with help of the Chinese, took care of the North, and the USA took care of the South.
In Korea's two main cities, which were on opposite sides, the democratic and the communist nations established their provisional government.
The problem was that the two governments held different ideas and systems.
Therefore, it created a division of North and South Korea.
Both superpowers decided to divide Korea into two zones at the 38th parallel.
Their plan was for World War II to end completely and then hold elections.
However, the catastrophic conflict between the two superpowers worsened due to the different types of governments that emerged in Korea.
The communist government in the north and the anti-communist government in the south.
Of course, the Soviet Union supported the North and the US the South.
The US started leaving because they didn't want to conquer the territory, they just wanted to help. That is when the USSR and China started to take advantage and invade the South.
Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, approved the North Korean invasion to the South in 1950.
They thought the US was not willing to risk men for another country that wasn't their own. But the US President Harry Truman saw this as a threat, based on the policy of containment and the domino theory.
Truman decided to send troops to help the South, but the USSR sent resources and China sent troops to help the other side, the North.
After 3 years of war, no victory was accomplished in either side.
In 1953, an armistice was signed between the US and the USSR, agreeing that the 38th parallel would be the boundary between the North and the South.
They just reaffirmed and made official the division, which still remains as of today.
Due to the consequences the war left, it has been an ongoing conflict.
This also led to the Americans' fear of communist expansion, and now the US was determined to keep fighting to prevent the spread of communism.